Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we are going to work on a bracelet using our December Bargain Bead Box, Earthen Elegance. So let's turn down and I'll show you what I have planned. These are the beads from the Earthen Elegance we're going to use. And this is the wire we're put it on. This is Soft Flex Butterscotch Imperial Medium. And we've got a head pin. This is to put on our, we're going to put a little dangle at the end, so that's for that. And this is our odds and end pieces we're going to need. So let's sort of design this up here. Now I have a design in mind, so we're going to use this big pretty lobster claw on one side and this ring on the other side. Then we're going to put in these two with our little cream one being our focal. And then we have these beads on this side, these beads on this. Between those, we'll have one here of these and one of these. This extra little one here went with this dangle. And then we're going to put in these melon beads and these triangular spacers. And how we're going to do that is the triangular spacers. Oh, that's one of my crimp tubes. Should be two in here. Yep, here's the other one. These are 2x2 crimps, by the way. So let's move these out a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a melon bead and two spacers between here and here, and then again here, so that will have a nice bunch of space there. And we're going to do the same between these other jasper pieces. Then when we get here, we're just going to put a spacer, a melon, the magma, a melon, a spacer, and then this guy again. Then we're going to do the same over here with a spacer and a melon, and a spacer. And then on the ends, we will have a spacer and a melon. Am I missing a melon? Oh, it's right here. I think I have an extra spacer here. But that's the way the bracelet will be put together. And then this dangle is going to, well, show you a little. I'm going to take this head pin here, and I'm going to make it just be a piece of wire. Whoa! Drop my stuff here. Then we're going to make it be this doesn't need a large ring because it's just going to go right there. So we'll bring it around here like so, drop her down, bring her over, and now we're going to leave a space here Now you might say, why are you leaving a space? That is because we're going to wire this directly onto our dangle piece. So we'll just feed that into there and let that drop. And then we're going to hold it where they come together and wrap that wire. So I like to take a second pair of pliers to do my wrapping usually. I don't always. Sometimes I do it by hand. But I think I can get them neater and tighter by doing them by hand. So I'm going to just give that 3 little wraps. When you come around a little bit more, and we'll cut that little bit off. And tuck her in some. Now I've got that crooked. See there? We don't want that crooked. We don't want it to dangle crooked like that. So we'll go in here, hold it while we push our wire over so we've evened it back out again. Then we will put our bead on here. And unless we want to use a jump ring to hook this onto the ring, we're going to have to hook it on right directly here. And since I don't want to do that, I'm just going to bend this over and put it aside in here until we get to the point where we need it. So the first thing we want to do after that is we're going to take and pull some beading wire off. I'm not going to cut it off. I'm going to bead directly to the wire so that I know that I have enough wire. So we're going to put a bead stopper right here. Oops. Well, I was going to put a bead stopper right there. There we go. I should put so we don't unravel. Then we'll just start on one side and just go down the end till we get to the other. So we'll go just as I have it laid out here. I think these spacers make a nice pattern in here. Now, a lot of people don't use spacers at all. I use them quite frequently. In fact, I usually do use them. And sometimes I do like I'm doing right now and do like a triple spacer here. I think it sometimes really adds to your pattern. This one's clogged up. So we will just get this extra one I had sitting here. There we go. She's all strung. Obviously, I've got a lot more wire out here than I need, so we will move our bead stopper over here and let this roll down. Now, I'm not going to cut it quite yet because I want to check on its length. But the jump ring will go on this side, this ring will go on this side, and then we'll hook our dangle onto the ring. But let's see how long that looks right here. Well, now see, it doesn't really look that long, though we are going to have the space of the ring and the space of the jump ring on there, as well as the ring. So I'm wondering if I need to. I'm not sure I have any more of the copper melon beads, so we'll see. I'll be right back. I did have some more of the melon beads from the kit, so we're going to put one more on this side. So it's matching our pattern here. But rather than putting a big washer spacer on, I'm going to put a little one because this is where we're ending. So, you know, I don't know that I like that little one. We may stay with the big one if we need it for the space. Now, this one, as I commented, is stuffed full of something. So if you have that happen to you and you have a beading awl, which I have one right here, take your beading awl and jam it into the hole. See how it just popped most of that stuff out? The thing is that these get stuff stuck in them sometimes. Usually it's the coating they used to antique it, but this looks sort of greenish, so I think it might be the grain that they used to spin it in to get the extra coating off. So that'll be on that end, and then we'll put the same thing on this other end. And let's see how much space that's going to give. I think that will probably give enough because, as you can see, it almost comes around now. I'm going to get my spacer out so you can, my sizer out so you can see what I'm talking about. See here, we're at 7 right here. And if we put this on here and pull it around, well, let's go to the other side so you can see what I'm talking about with the size. So we're right here. And we're going to put another melon bead and such on. Then we've got we're getting too tight here, so it's not at 7 anymore. We're going to put this on and this on. So that should give us plenty of space. Might even give us a little bit too much. We'll find out. But since I've got mostly what we want here, I'm going to cut this wire right here. I'm giving myself plenty of room to crimp it and such. Now I'm going to put those other 2 beads on here. I'll need to get one of the bigger ones since I just got smaller ones out and I need one more bigger one, but we'll go do that. Trade these off. There is a next one, so we will put that on here. And then we have a choice to make. Do we wish to get jump rings to hook these onto either side, or do we want to just hardwire them on? And because of, by the way, if you're wondering, this is, when we go this direction, it's almost 7 inches, 6.5. And this would actually add, because it's going to go inside there, that inch, a little more than an inch. But the reason it looks shorter when you put it on your on your wrist or on the easy sizer is because these 2 beads are big enough that their circumference, which you can see is pretty large, makes that have smaller space there. See how that works when you pull it around? How these beads come in, but those ones are being in the middle there more. That is what's causing you to need the extra size, because those beads are not allowing the other ones. See now how the little white one sticks up a little further? They're not allowing that one to come down where it would normally come down. So that is what's causing that to do that. So now, like I say, I have to make that decision. Are we going to use jump rings to put this together? Or are we going to use the regular, just do it right to it? As far as the ring is concerned, lots of times I will put my lobster claw on a jump ring. And the reason for that is because it could go straight here. But lobster claws have a spring inside here that sometimes breaks. And if your lobster claw breaks, if it's directly wired on, then you have that problem of having to restring the whole bracelet instead of just taking, opening up that jump ring and removing the lobster claw and changing it for a new one. So I think I am going to get a couple of jump rings, at least one for the side with the lobster claw, and we will jump ring that side at least. And then we will see how far we are as far as sizing is concerned for our ring. If we need a little space, we'll jump ring the ring. If we do not, we will not jump ring the ring, because that way we don't have to worry about any problem with the ring. It's a nice heavy-duty ring. So anyway, I will get a jump ring for the lobster claw side, and I will be right back. Okay, so I've got a couple of jump rings out. And these are smaller ones, but we're going to put our crimp tube on, and then our jump ring. And we're going to, now see, the jump ring is going to try and go through over your crimp. You don't want it over it. It's got to be in the loop. So pull that loose. Then we're going to crimp it in here. So these beads should have plenty of space to go through, at least a couple of them. We're going to pull that up relatively tight, and then we're going to crimp it. Now these are 2x2 crimp tubes, because I use magical crimpers. 2x2 crimp tubes are the only ones that will work in here. They have a little divot. You put your crimp tube right in that divot, as long as you can get your jump ring out of the way. See how I've got it? You just put it right in there, and then you squish. And it makes it sort of square, so you turn it and squish it again. And you continue to go around and squish until you're not getting any more resistance from it. And then we'll do a tug test, and that's good. So now we're going to put our lobster claw on this side. And we're going to do that now because we want to see the sizing. So open this baby up, put our lobster claw on. And close her up. Make sure it's good and closed. And then we'll roll our wire down. Over to the other side. And now it's time to see how how long it is again, because if this is going to be too long, we're going to want to go directly onto the ring. If it's going to be right there, then we'll probably use the jump ring. So let us get our sizer out again. Put it right here. Now this time I don't have it attached to the spool, so I can move this, pull this right up here. Come here, baby. And we want there at 7. And as you can see, I think we have enough room to put the jump ring on with the ring, because it's going to sit like so. So let's get the jump ring crimped onto here, and we will see how that goes. Oops. Crimp first, then the jump ring. Now this side, because this is our finishing side, we want our wire to pull all the way up. Work these down so that this can come down some more. Now, you don't want it too tight, so make sure when you put this, do the crimp, that you're in sort of a rolling motion. So because if you pull it really tight when it's straight, you won't be able to hardly bend it. It'll be really stiff. So, see how we're doing here? Looks like we're good. Those are all the way up and over. This has come down most of the way. And we want this down just a teeny bit more. See, we have this gap right here where the extra cord is coming through. We don't want that gap to come up here when we get this finished. So we want to push this down as much as possible, and then pull this to get this extra space out of here. See how we have this extra space? Pull that out of there. We still have a little extra space down here, so we want to push this down. But as we're pushing and pulling, I can feel it start to tug back out, so we want to make sure we hold it when we do this. Because if we leave too much room, then we're going to have a big gap in our bracelet, and we'll want to get out the crimp covers, which I don't normally use because this makes a beautiful little copper, well, this is copper, but makes a pretty little ball out of the crimp when it crimps. So let's get this crimped now that we've got it tightened up. So we want that crimp tube to go right in the middle of our divot. Come on, baby, slide over there. There we go. So let's get this all crimped up nice and tight. Now that we've got that, let's cut this extra wire off. And we'll go on to our next step. Be careful when you cut your extra wire that you don't get your original wire. You don't want to cut it off. And then you have to start over. So here we go. Right now it's time to put our ring on here. So we'll just open up this jump ring. we'll slide the ring on to it. Close it up. There we go. We'll close our bracelet up. There we go. And we'll put it on the sizer and see how long it ended up being. Now see, we're just between 7 and 7 1/4. So about right where we needed it to be. So let's get our little dangle put on. Now this again is one of those things. It can go on directly onto the ring, or we can put it on a jump ring as well. I think I'll put this one directly on the ring. In order to do that, we want to make a loop. And I am going to make a... And I notice I have this bend the wrong way, so we're going to have to turn that. I just want to bend it so it's going the other direction. Because since I'm going to put it directly on, I need that loop to go this way. So rather than the other way. So we're going to use the second one, biggest one here, because we don't want it to be too tiny because it's got to go over the ring. Then we're going to bring it around and drop it. And then as we pull it around, we're going to leave a gap because we need that gap so that it'll feed onto the ring all right. So just like that. Now we'll take hold of this where it comes together and push it down because obviously it's pulled apart right now. And when you do that, make sure that when you do, you bring this wire back up some because inevitably it has slid down further than where you want that bend to be at. See how it's done that? It's going more sideways than right across. So we want to pull that up tighter so that you get that loop and then wrap it. Now the wire is bending some, I can feel that, and I'm sure you can see it too, and that's all right because this is wire. We can always get it to go where we want it to go. So I think we're probably done wrapping now. So we'll cut that excess off. Whoop, banged my light. Yeah, that's close enough. So we'll cut this little bit of extra wire off right here, making sure not to get anything extra in our clipper on our cutters. Cut that off and tuck this wire in now. Okay. There's our little dangle on there. Set 4, I think. Oops. I think I may have not paid enough attention and may have put it on backwards. Let's find out. I guess it just depends on which way you put your bracelet on. Because it's fine now if I do it this way. Come on. So, there's our bracelet with our little dangle. All finished. So we've got this little guy all finished. Hope you enjoyed making that with me. Isn't that pretty? a really gorgeous little neutral bracelet. And I hope you enjoyed making it with me. I think it turned out really cute. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we've been using the Bargain Bead Box Earthen Elegance. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.